Ted Bundy is one of the most infamous figures in criminal history. His name has become synonymous with manipulation, charm, and unspeakable acts. But how did Ted Bundy evolve from a seemingly normal child into one of the most notorious individuals in America? To understand this transformation, we need to delve into his childhood, adolescence, and adulthood, exploring the mind of a man who left a trail of devastation in his wake. Early life and childhood. Ted Bundy was born Theodore Robert Cowell on November 24, 1946, in Burlington, Vermont. From the outset, his life was marked by secrecy and confusion. Bundy's mother, Eleanor Louise Cowell, was unmarried at the time, which was socially unacceptable in the 1940s. To avoid scandal, Ted was raised by his maternal grandparents and was led to believe that his mother was his sister. This deceptive family dynamic created early emotional confusion for Bundy. Growing up, Bundy was known to be a shy and introverted child. He had difficulty forming friendships and often felt like an outsider. Despite this, he was intelligent and performed well academically. However, underneath this exterior was a brewing storm. Bundy later admitted that he felt a deep sense of inadequacy and struggled with feelings of shame and anger. Adolescence and early adulthood. As Bundy entered his teenage years, he began to develop what would later become a defining aspect of his character, an ability to manipulate those around him. He became more socially adept, learning to charm and influence people to get what he wanted. But alongside this growing social skill was a darker side. Bundy became obsessed with violent fantasies, often spending hours alone, indulging in these disturbing thoughts. This internal world of darkness was a stark contrast to the image he projected to others, a polite, clean-cut young man who seemed to have a bright future. During his college years, Bundy attended the University of Washington, where he studied psychology. It was here that he began a relationship with a young woman who would later become a significant figure in his life. This relationship, however, was fraught with complications. Bundy's girlfriend eventually broke up with him, an event that reportedly had a profound impact on him. This rejection is believed to have fueled the rage that would later drive his actions. The evolution of a predator. As Bundy moved into adulthood, he appeared to be a man on the rise. He was involved in politics, had a promising future in law, and was well liked by those who knew him. But this was all a facade. Behind the mask was a man who harbored a growing desire to act on the dark fantasies he had nurtured for years. Bundy's intelligence and charisma allowed him to evade suspicion for a long time. He was meticulous in his planning and execution, leaving behind very little evidence. His ability to blend into society made it difficult for authorities to believe that someone like him could be responsible for such heinous acts. Psychologists who have studied Bundy believe that his actions were driven by a combination of factors. His need for control and dominance, coupled with a deep-seated resentment and anger, created a perfect storm. Bundy himself once described his actions as a compulsion, something he felt powerless to resist. He sought to exert his will over others, using manipulation and deception as his tools. The downfall of Ted Bundy began when he became overconfident. His methods, once meticulous, started to show signs of carelessness. This, combined with the increasing pressure from law enforcement, led to his capture. In 1975, Bundy was arrested in Utah after a routine traffic stop revealed suspicious items in his car. This arrest marked the beginning of the end for Bundy, though it would take years and several escapes before he was finally brought to justice. During his trials, Bundy continued to maintain his innocence, using his charm and intelligence to manipulate the legal system and the media. He acted as his own defense attorney, relishing the attention and the opportunity to control the narrative. But as the evidence mounted, it became clear that Bundy was guilty of unspeakable acts. Be cautious with strangers, whether in person or online. Be wary of people who try to gain your trust too quickly. Understanding Ted Bundy's psychology is a complex task. Many experts believe that Bundy was a textbook example of a sociopath, a person with a personality disorder characterized by persistent antisocial behavior, impaired empathy, and remorse, as well as bold, disinhibited, and egotistical traits. Bundy himself admitted in interviews that he lacked any sense of guilt or remorse for his actions. His ability to compartmentalize his life allowed him to commit horrendous acts while maintaining a seemingly normal existence. He was a master at deception, convincing those around him that he was trustworthy and kind. This duality is what makes Bundy so terrifying. The idea that someone who appears so normal could be capable of such darkness. Bundy's need for control extended beyond his victims to his interactions with the world. He manipulated the media, charmed juries, and even managed to escape custody twice, further feeding his sense of superiority and invincibility. His crimes were not just about the physical acts he committed, but also about the psychological control he exerted over his victims and society as a whole. Ted Bundy's story is a sobering reminder that individuals who appear charming and trustworthy can harbor dangerous intentions. While it's important not to live in fear, we must also remain vigilant. Here are some practical tips to help protect yourself and others. Trust your instincts. If something feels off about a person or situation, trust your gut feeling. It's better to be cautious than to dismiss your instincts. Be cautious with strangers. Whether in person or online, be wary of people who try to gain your trust too quickly. Take your time to get to know someone before sharing personal information or meeting them alone. Stay in safe, public areas. When meeting someone new or unfamiliar, choose well-lit, public places. Avoid secluded areas, especially at night. Inform others. Let friends or family know your whereabouts and plans when meeting someone new. Sharing your location can be a safety net if something goes wrong. Self-defense. Consider learning basic self-defense techniques or carrying personal safety devices. While these tools should never replace caution, they can provide an added layer of protection. By staying aware and cautious, we can reduce the risk of falling prey to individuals who may not have our best interests at heart. Ted Bundy's story is a chilling reminder of the dangers that can lurk behind a seemingly normal facade. His ability to deceive those around him, coupled with his insatiable need for control and dominance, led him down a path of darkness from which there was no return. While we may never fully understand what drove Bundy to commit his actions, his case serves as a powerful example of the complexity of the human mind and the potential for evil that exists within us all. As we reflect on Bundy's life, it's crucial to remember the victims who lost their lives and the families who were forever changed by his actions. Ted Bundy may be a name that lives on in infamy, but the true legacy lies in the lives he destroyed.